this works. Oh, this fucking monitor. Why did that fall like that? Alright, I think we're live. I believe I'm live. I don't know. Okay, why is this on the floor there? Okay. And then I've got to go here. I like this new system a little bit, but man. So we're in a trade up about, I don't know, 25 grand, whatever it is. Really just trading the NQ a lot today. It's kind of been the best thing to trade here. I really feel like I need one more monitor for this whole setup. I guess when you get used to 6 monitors or so, then it's a lot easier to, or it's a lot harder to kind of go. All right, there we go. I wish I could automate all this stuff. The stream. Oh, we got something here.
Got ambushed all the way up here. Still could be some bad guys who want to play.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
God damn it, Ray. No country music. Okay?
Dude, it's not a country song, it's a cowboy song.
All right. How's everybody doing? I don't know if anybody showed up yet. How's all the peeps doing? So,
Lunch? Oh, you gotta be kidding. Lunch is for wimps.
I'm going to be knocked out of some of this trade here, possibly. A little bit less P&L than I actually want to take, but hey. That's the market, isn't it? Yeah. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Alright, I'm trying to organize this thing. This is the first time I've kind of streamed with this thing here. Okay. You know what I don't like Telegram? I wish I could just... Is there a way to favorite something? Pin. Okay, there we go. Alright. Sometimes all I gotta do is just read stuff. Mama. So it says I'm sharing on the Telegram. So how's everybody doing? I'd love some feedback. Might be calling it early, like just maybe an hour into the stream. Who knows, you know? Yeah. Trading futures. The close. Boom. All right. So, how's the trading going for everybody? Hopefully it's going good. Still in this trade, so I did not get knocked out. We're up about what? I don't know. 29 grand on that thing. Mama, don't let your babies. I'm gonna have to hear that song. Oh, look at that pullback. Jeez, hold on. All right. Man. Ah. This pullback here, I don't know. We'll see. Holding out for that. I mean, it's playing with that level. You can see that here. Playing with that level. Might be knocked out here. It's going to range around. It might range around the rest of the day too. Might not have a reason to move up. So let's look at another trade. Well, we missed the CL trade, the best entry on that trade. The thing is, though, it ripped up past the RDA, so the next trade on the CL really is the next level. So the next trade on CL is the next level, which is 70 spot 40. Could trade up to that spot, possibly. You know, where you'd want to enter here. I think you'd want to enter right around here. Right around 68.51. I think that's where you'd want to enter on CL. So CL long 68.51. Yeah, so far in it, I mean, I waited for confirmation, waited for the pullback, waited for I mean, this is, you know, actually if I show this, why do we trade the system? Look at this is so obvious. Look at that. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. I just annoy, you know, I know I keep complaining about it, but, you know, I swear I'm spending more time adjusting charts and doing these little stupid adjustments on things than I do looking at the chart every single time. What is that ping? Oh, okay.
Stop field. Stop field.
Of course, got stopped out. Not too happy about that situation. Probably didn't want to get knocked out of that trade right there, but I only got knocked out for 10. It's probably good to not, you know, I should have took at the level check, but I'm holding out just because I had the entry that made the most sense. But we'll move these up just because, you know, anyways, what I was going to say, what I was going to show here, highlight, is look at this. It's so, I mean, it's why we trade the system. I mean, there's overshoots, yeah, but do you trade the overshoots? And especially with the 4-chart layout. Members, today would be a good day to just, I shared something in Trade Room Alpha, that range. It's like a perfect range, you know. And it was just really trading the RDA, then trading momentum. I mean, you didn't have momentum on some of these trades, but look at this RDA checks there. There. Look at here. Failed here, overshoot here. So that was a little bit, you know, you might have thought it was a breakout. And then, you know, it's messing around with this level. So let's see how we're doing. Feels like it wants to rip up, but it's hard to tell. There it goes, breaking out. I didn't add to it there. So the 60-minute structure looks kind of interesting here. Let's look at Bitcoin too. Bitcoin's kind of lost now. Let's see if well, it's not breaking out. It is 1330. So, you know, it's going to frustrate traders. It might even do a deep pullback here. So I'm going to divvy this up a little bit. I'm going to start, yeah, I should have took a profit there. I thought it was going to break out. That's why I didn't take a profit there. I'm just going to start putting in trailing stops. We get knocked out, and I'll start over somewhere else. I'm just sick of playing around with this little level here at 840. It broke once on chart. It's broke a couple times on chart 2, but it didn't hold up, you know, both times obviously. So we'll see. Oh, sorry, not showing my chart. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right. Just got a bunch of 5s in there. How do I manage that amount of contracts? What do you mean? I mean, it's just like anything else. I just... Oh my God. Okay, I don't know why I've been getting that call. Anyways, you know, we trade in thirds. So, stops and trailing stops usually. And then that's scaling in. So, on that entry, that was, I mean, I didn't really scale into this entry because it was pretty obvious where it was going to probably stop, and then I waited for confirmation. So, you know, I've been focusing, I should say, on getting back to the not being super fade person, super fader man, and I've been focusing on waiting for confirmation. So, that's been kind of what I've been focusing on today is just, okay, you know, not doing any early trading, maybe maybe a position here and there, but overall what I'm focused on is just, you know, waiting for confirmation on the patterns. It's been a pretty, you know, except for I guess it's been a pretty reliable day as far as trading. I mean, it's been a little frustrating because I wasn't with the buyers sometimes. So that's one thing I would put in my journal today. All right, there we go. We're starting to move up. You can see I just got a bunch of stacked, you know, just trailing stop orders. So, and they're just moving up with the market. Now we got the opening range high. So I'll give it a little bit of room there to maybe reject. We'll see. We'll see what it does. But we're targeting at least, we'd like to get to as much as we can in this position up to 906 if it's going to move up there. So there we are. 906. You notice also I removed the P&L because I don't have it when I'm trading. And
Stop filled.
You know, what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start trading. And then, you know, I will still do teaching in the streams and kind of doing stuff like that. But I can't.
Stop filled.
I can't in my right mind anymore ding my P&L because of streams. So I'm gonna trade my style, and if people tune in, people appreciate it. They do. If they don't, then I'll stop doing it. So, you know,
Stop filled.
I'm sick of dinging my P&L. What I mean by dinging my P&L, I'm sick of not.
Stop filled.
So I did anticipate kind of obviously it's the opening range high. So we're taking some profit, obviously. I'm just not gonna sacrifice my trading anymore because of streams. So hopefully people appreciate what I'm doing. If not, if so, you'll notice now today I'm streaming to
Stop field. Stop field.
There we go. Yeah. So that was pretty predictable. Now it's just a matter of, okay, do we just get out on all these trailing stops or what do we do? I'll still share my P&L. Yeah, so I'll still, thanks Nathan. I mean, I'll still share my P&L. And I'm still gonna, I mean, this is for members, so, but the challenge, and I shared this with members, I can't trade one chart, okay? Because, I'm just not, I get massively bored and I overtrade it. Now I've been trading mainly the NQ today because I'm working on, I'm working, I in my number one thing in my journal today says, wait for confirmation, pattern confirmation. It says pattern confirmation. So that's what it says. And then trade the system. So I have the number one thing I have is wait for confirmation. So my trades, except for 2 today, I waited for confirmation. There's that short that I did where I was just scaling into the short just because that's I wasn't sure. I didn't wait for confirmation there. So if I would have waited for confirmation, the P&L and that would have been much better. But so I still kind of started a little bit off. So that's why I'm kind of only trading kind of just the NQ today, just because that's one thing that I've identified that I'm not doing. Because I do have it's just bad trading. So why should I reward myself for bad trading? That's what I'm saying. If that makes any sense to anybody? Oh wait, put it in the wrong spot. Questions? Do you have any questions? I can go through anything. I wasn't sure on that indicator, like what was not the point, but more of like why. That's like what is the purpose of it? Maybe I'll go into that and share something, because I think that'll share some. Okay. So here, just members, if you haven't, what the heck? Oh, look at that. We didn't want to be out of that trade. Now the question is, I don't know if we necessarily chase it. That was our opportunity to get back in. So we're going to see if we can get in on a minor pullback on a double top of this, a double test of this. But we might have missed that opportunity. So I'm not going to chase the trade. So yeah, I can share my entry. So we trade what's called the 4-chart setup. So you're not seeing the 4-chart setup. The 4-chart setup is a combination of time and tick charts. And then we trade predictive price action. What I mean by that is the indicators that you see on the chart, some of them, tell us where to look for price reactions, and then we trade those price reactions. And then those price reactions, you're looking for patterns. Candlestick patterns, you're looking for price action patterns. So when I say, like I know...
Order filled.
Okay, there we go. We got picked up. So we got picked up for 1. So we'll see if we get picked up for the other 5. Okay. Sorry. Again, I have a lot of distractions today too. That's the other thing. There's a few things going on. One of them is massively annoying me. So, but I'm trying not to let it affect me emotionally, or as in, affect my trading. All right, let's see if we're up about. Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to stay in this trade. Got our trailing stops. We're in 15 lots. So I can't. United Trading. Yeah. So you trade ICT. I mean, I'm well familiar with the system. I didn't buy the training, but I think I did. No, I don't think I bought ICT, but I'm well familiar with it because I started in Forex, and I know that I believe he's transferred over to futures, although I would disagree heavily on much of what he teaches in futures. Because for instance, I watched one video where he said, you need 25 grand to even trade the futures. I'm like, dude, you don't need 25 grand to trade the futures. Like, you can do it on 5 grand. You can be massively successful. So, I understand maybe the perspective he's coming from, at least from that video I watched. But, anyways, I'm not here to downgrade any other trader. I'm just more of, so that's the entry. Now, when I say confirmation, we have patterns. So for instance, what I'll share here is I just shared, because I'm working on the pattern library. One of the things that I'm doing, so I've released a couple of these videos on YouTube. Hold on, I got to log in. Where what I do is you should do this anyways. Traders, new traders, if you haven't, sometimes I'm referencing in the military because I'm pretty familiar with things in the military. Military has a thing called an after action report. Basically, something happens and then you do reports. And then in those reports, typically it's obviously a report for posterity, but it's also a report to say, what do we do right? What do we do wrong? What can we improve? What should we not do again? Right. So, a lot of officers, they do a lot of these type of reports. So you should be looking at the trading day. And so, for instance, what I'm starting to do is I'm doing the same thing with our patterns in our pattern library. So here is a pattern, for instance, of basically of me breaking down this pattern and breaking down some of the distinct things that because anybody can look at a chart, right? You can look at a chart. So members, this is part where you'll find this is on here, and then you'll see pattern barks. So it's part of the pattern library. So what these barks are is that they're typically going to maybe contain multiple patterns, or they're going to contain more of a longer move and pulling it all together. And the reason for that is, and I say this in the video, and I say this often, is that you can go back and look at a chart. And I just said that you should do that. You should go back and look at a chart and see where your system gave you the best setups. But then if anybody, any person that's trading, even if you just started trading yesterday, and maybe you just came across a strategy. We're still in this trade. We're up about 9,200. Maybe you just came across a strategy where, so we're going to see if we can get picked up in a pullback here. So we're expecting a little bit of a stall here. So we'll see if we can get picked up on a pullback possibly. Don't want to get too aggressive. So we'll put a trailing stop in there to protect it. And we're looking to get picked up right around. I'm on chart 2, members. And then we're right around, I would say, the slow momentum indicator right around 850. You want to be above it. So, in real time, it's a lot harder. So for instance, I talked to someone that's looking to kind of become a member, and they just kind of started trading or got into trading last week, and they kind of saw a strategy, and then they went out and tried it, and they said it just didn't work, or it was hard to trade in real time. I said, yeah, you can go back in a chart and you can say, wow, look at this. This is awesome. Look at this divergence. But in real time, it's a lot messier. So, that's what I'm covering in much of those in the pattern barks is, okay, let's talk about the real time nature of this. And one of the things I talk about is time. So for instance, there was 2 trades that existed in this pattern here. And you'll see here, what I say here is that the second trade, there was 37 minutes between when the second trade gave you an opportunity to make that trade. 37 minutes. And that's a lifetime in day trading. Especially maybe if you're over trading and you have 20 or you have tunnel vision, 37 minutes is a lifetime in day trading. But that was, you had 2 high probability best trades that you should have executed there, and you had to wait for confirmation for both of them. But you had one, and if you missed that one, then you were you had enough time to plan for the other one that was a possibility that actually did unfold. But you had to wait 37 minutes for that. So that's a long time, especially if you're watching the chart, and if you're not in a trade, or if so it's 37 minutes is a long time in day trading world. So I discussed much of that there in the video about, okay, well, how do you factor that in? All right, so where are we at? Did that answer your question? United Trading? Hopefully that answered your question. So basically there was multiple reasons, or I had multiple signals to enter the long trade there. And then not usually, yeah, I'd say I have a better entry than that, because I'm trading early. But like I said before, my number one thing to work on is wait for confirmation. Because confirmation, then I don't have to, that's the way I should be trading anyways. I've just fell into the habit of relying a little bit more on my gut and my instinct about where things are. Now that has got me in trouble. So it's time to rediscipline myself and trade from discipline. And that's a constant struggle that you're going to face. Hey, I do have some sounds here today. So this is one of my favorite ones.
I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
Can anybody tell me where that's from? That's one of the funniest movies I've watched of the last. I don't know when that movie came out, but if anybody can tell me where that's from, I'll be surprised if anybody. Well, I won't be surprised actually. There you go, Nathan Wall. Great. Yep. You're right, Black Dynamite. I was wondering if someone... What's BOAS? Is that Black Dynamite, or is that... What is BOAS? I'd be interested. Yeah, so that was from Black Dynamite. There's a bunch of sayings in Black Dynamite that are just hilarious. Just... if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, it's obviously it's not for everybody, because you have to kind of like that type of movie or want to be into that type of movie. What is bias? Boatarde? Boatarde. I'll have to look that up, as I don't know what that is. My nephew recommended Peaky Blinders. I'm enjoying the show. I do have to watch, what's that new Netflix show? My daughter loves the books, and I'm starting to read the books. I didn't get to ask, and I will ask if we have any mathematicians. Yep, AZJ, Black Dynamite. Yeah, awesome. Okay, that's good. I got fellow travelers here that actually recognize the recognize the movie and recognize the saying. All right, now maybe it's gonna sell off here, so we'll get probably taken out. I don't really want to short here.
Stop filled.
That's the thing. We want to be long. I mean, I'd like to short it, but yeah, I think we need to be long. I don't see any other trades that really exist in the books. I mean, NG, I'm in that NG trade from lower. So for instance, I told you that might be the trade of like the quarter. So this NG trade here, I'm in another broker account, because I'm trading it long term. So I scaled in down here. I was gonna swing it here in this, but I just didn't. I got knocked out. So NG, I think, even at this level, because I'm talking, if we look at the daily on NG, I rarely do this. I rarely change charts on these things. So if we look at the daily, I mean, it could go to zero like oil did, right? So it could go to zero, but I'm targeting about $2.9914. I'm looking for an RDA test eventually on that thing. It might take obviously 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then from there, what I would hope would happen on this chart is that momentum would shift and then momentum would hold, and then I would have a pretty much almost near perfect entry at the low. Not that I'm trying to have a near perfect entry. It's more of just, okay, to me, that's the trade that exists. So that's a longer term trade. I don't do a lot of those, but for instance, when I see something in the futures market that is at an extreme where you can properly scale in, it just, makes sense. There's another. Do I have the other Black Dynamite? I sell drugs in the community. Like I said, I should watch that. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. All right, it's an RDA check on chart 2. We're at a loss here, so obviously my basis on that position is a little off. I think I cancel out of that, and then so it's doing a check. Let's look at the index. Let's see what the index is doing. Bitcoin might rip up. I don't know for sure. I got to do a little bit deeper analysis. All right, so the index pulling back. We've got a weird, members. We've got that weird behavior that sometimes happens that we see every now and then. We have the RDA between our two momentum indicators. So, that's what you see in a changeover state often, is you see the RDA between two momentum indicators. So, you trade it the same way, but it's just something to take note of, right? We're biased and momentum long, but, it's not something. You'll see this more on something like the index than sometimes you'll see it on like the NQ, for instance. So we're still long on 5. I didn't enter because we're about 7 minutes from the 2 o'clock hour. So we want. Thanks for the BOA trade, Tarde. I'll look at that. So I don't know if it's going to sell off here. It doesn't look like it's going to sell off. I didn't even look up the news. As far as I know, we mentioned before that there was a meeting, an emergency meeting. I probably should look up the news just to kind of see what's going on. So let's go to I don't see anything like, I don't see anything from there. So I'll go to Bloomberg. I don't know why I don't have that bookmark there anymore. Buyer rent premium is highest since the 2006 bubble. Yeah. All right, so let's see. We got to pull back, so I guess we can wait till it pulls back here. So kind of the entry is right around here. That's the entry. Right around 829, a little bit lower, 826. I should probably maybe trade it down to there, possibly.
Order filled.
So I reversed just on these 5 lots, and then what I'm going to do is we'll trade it down to 826. That's really not that far. Possibly. I'd say 824. It might not get there. It might be just momentum long, and this might be just an overshoot. So I'm not going to give it a lot of room. I'm just going to do, usually I would do a couple different trailing stops. I'm just going to do the 5 trailing stops. So, risking probably what? Yeah, probably should have went long there. I thought there might be a continuation. We'll see here. Thought there might be a continuation of this red candle here. Yeah, we're out. I think we'll be out.
Stop filled.
Yeah, we got stopped out. Yeah, we should have went long. So let's do that. Bad trade. Put the time. 13:54. 13:56. Bad trade. So the way I journal, just so everybody knows, I've got a notepad here. I put the time
Order
of a
filled.
trade. I put that, and then I put like what I did wrong. Even right trades, I'll do that, and then I go and look at that at the end of the day. I won't. Sometimes obviously when I get done trading, I don't look at the end of the day. Anybody have any questions? I can answer questions. I know it's a little bit slow in the market right now. We're just waiting for that. So now I'm looking to get picked up. I should have been long on that check. I shouldn't have called the bluff and thought it was going to go down lower. But that was the right trade. So that was a kind of a aggressive, a terrible fade actually. That's what I have here. Terrible fade. Terrible fade because why? I entered that trade at a momentum check, which is the dumbest thing you can do. And a lot of times you'll hear me say stuff like that. I would be saying those same things to myself if I was just here trading without the stream. So the one thing I'm doing different today is I'm actually I'm streaming using a multi-stream service that I kind of researched and
Order
looked up.
filled.
Now we got to be a little careful here because we're about the 2 o'clock close. So I bet it will pull back. I can almost see it pulling back, but we're going to just do 3 lots here. And then I'm slowing down my position size a little bit because we're near the high for the day. It might continue to run. There might be an opportunity here, but if we look at the 60-minute chart. So I did mention before, if you were on the stream before, I said the 30-minute chart is structure. And it's structure because it doesn't closely mirror the TPO chart. The TPO chart is obviously in 30-minute blocks. But it forms structure. It forms blocks is the way I would describe it.
Stop filled.
Yeah, we got stopped out, which we kind of expect that. Kind of expect a little bit of that behavior given the time. So it's going to probably try to make a move here one direction or the other. We don't know what direction yet. So we're just going to keep that one lot there. Let's see if we can firm out the direction that the market's taken. So like I said, with the 30-minute, the reason why, I see the 30-minute somewhat, so I don't really need to have it pulled up. But I think the 30-minute, this is something, members, if you haven't tried, and maybe the golden time frame, the 60-minute time frame, is too large for you, meaning that based on your trading and your personality, the various things that we look at the 60-minute chart is too wide for your trading style. If you haven't tried the 30-minute chart, well, there's a whole section on the 30-minute chart in the training. And if you haven't watched that, or if you haven't watched it in a while, maybe look at that and see if maybe that's something that you would use instead of the 60-minute chart. So it as you can see here, it structures itself in what I like to think of as blocks. So that's why I call it more of a structure chart. It's like our chart 4. Our chart 4 in the 4 chart layout is a structure. Is a structure chart. All right. Well, we're in that trade. We're up about $100. The other thing is, I know I mentioned the dollars. I've watched a couple other streams and I saw other streamers do it. So, actually share with me, should I do that or should I not do that? I don't know if, I do see it when I'm trading. So this is something that I do see when I'm trading. So obviously I do see my positions and everything. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing the chart I'm trading. So obviously I do see it, but I don't have my P&L up because I find it distracting. Because then I'm like yesterday, I didn't feel like a tool, but I was like, oh, let's see if we can get to this number. Or let's see if we can. I never think that way. I just think about executing great trades. So that's now, if you need your P&L up, fine. I can gauge whether or not I'm trading like crap or not. One trader recently shared in the den that they started adopting a daily loss limit, and if they hit that, they stop trading. I've never tried that. I tried it a couple times. It just didn't work for me because I'm an aggressive trader, and I've been good at being able to readjust my mindset. But that's something to try if you haven't tried it. That's a discipline. And with some of these accounts, what you can do, you can reverse it, but you can make it almost very difficult for you to actually have to be able to trade that account that day. So that's something to consider. Let's look around the market. How about we do that while we're waiting for this trade to unfold? I mean, we're in one lot. What I'm really looking for is I'm looking for 908, and I'm looking to see, okay, what I'm waiting for. Let me share what I'm waiting for actually. So remember, what I'm waiting for, number one, we're late on Friday, okay? So
Stop filled.
Anybody trading late on Friday loves trading, or they're addicted. I'm probably both. So I'm probably addicted and I love trading. I'm waiting for, is there going to be a deeper pullback back to 796? That's what I'm waiting for. Is there going to be a false pullback to 796? So, and then I would go long. Now, it might happen so quick that I wouldn't want to short the move. Now, we are seeing on chart 2 right now the possibility that might be unfolding. So I'm not going to chase this trade. I'm going to wait to see if we get picked up on something like a right around 842. So chart 2 has changed. Now this would be a fade trade. So this is why obviously we didn't short that move up there. So this could be a standard momentum check. Hey, how you doing, Blitz T? How you doing? Saying hi on YouTube.
Order filled.
How you doing? So we got picked up on one short. How yo doing? I meant how you doing. But so that might be the momentum check there. So we got to be careful on this short here. We don't want to get too aggressive. It is the last hour of the market. We do have obviously the Fed trying to destroy the economy. We got what they said is not a banking crisis, but I don't think anybody believes them. We got housing that is basically, I'm talking in the U.S. obviously. Okay, sweet. Good to have you back. Obviously housing is in the U.S. is starting to have some numbers. Okay, well, I hope you're feeling better. I know how health can be. I was in a direct message with someone that talked about health issue and how they were trading from the hospital. So it brought back memories.
Stop filled.
I'd kind of laugh out loud because it brought back memories. Okay, we got stopped out of that trade. Once again, it's a fade. This might be just a kind of one of those false pullbacks. I think what we do is we just go long here
Order filled.
with the expectation that possibly it is just a overshoot of chart 2. But the other thing that you can do in times like this is you can really churn your account because the market's in this range and you're trading both sides, and if you're not trading the extremes, or what you need to be doing is giving it enough room. So I'll answer the question. There's a question on YouTube about trailing stops. I'll answer that. So members, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for I want to see a spike up on like an impulse spike up, and then it fail, and then it maybe go down to 796. And then I would be long around 796. But I probably won't be able to trade that false move up because it might just happen too quick. So that's what I'm expecting. So we've got a lot of kind of uncertainty in the market, news out there.
Stop filled.
All right. See, this is where I probably should have been short based on this. But once again, it's a terrible short area. Chart 1 says that maybe we should trade this bias and momentum check. This momentum, momentum and RDA check, but I don't know. Chart 2 did switch. So, but look at that move there. So we'll call the bluff here on this move. I'm going to call the bluff on this.
Order
move.
filled.
I'm trading chart 2 It's hitting the opening range high. Let's say that, okay, there's enough market time here where it's going to fail here. We're going to do
Order filled.
tight stops. It might just rip up here from here. So I might be just burning through a couple $100 of P&L for no reason. But it's a trade on chart 2. So chart 2 came in, checked up the momentum indicator, and then I'll answer the question from Torsten. Hi, could you say something? This is from YouTube. Could you say something about your trailing stop, how you calculate the distance, or do you have a generic trailing stop? I don't have a generic trailing stop. It's literally based on
Stop filled.
what I call the story of the chart. So it's based on, the trailing stops are obviously based on the entry. It's based on how price action is unfolding. It's based on
Order filled.
Where price is at in relation to the actual indicators that we use in our system. The other thing that it's based
Order
on,
filled.
Which is real, is I want at least a check between my stop loss and a reaction. I want at least one reaction area between my stop loss, any stop loss I have. So that's generally where you see me put my stops. That's because there's at least one or two reaction areas there in that stop, or the price should not get up to there if that trade is valid. If that trade is valid, now it might spike up there. That happens.
Stop
That's
filled.
the way trading is.
Stop
right?
filled.
So that's the way trading is. But 90% of the time, that trade that I'm executing shouldn't get up there, or shouldn't tag that area. So that's where I place a lot of my trailing stop. It's trade specific. I don't have a specific. I know a lot of people would like, you could do, here's the thing. If you want to always do a bracketed trade where you're trading 10 ticks, for instance, 15 ticks, you better have a strategy that backs that up very well, because you'll be frustrated a lot, because I haven't found, well, okay, that's not true. It is possible. It's just that what you've got to do is what's the word I'm looking for? You got to be extremely patient, and it's possible. Where that maybe could play a role is I see that strategy more effective on something like a bot. And the reason for that is because a bot does not get frustrated. Okay? A human gets frustrated. So, I've just found fixed stops for me. Because the trade is, I guess, let me share another philosophy. I read this in a book. So I am going to, next week, there'll be a post where I'll share what I consider the best trading books that exist. And I'd say half of them aren't even trading books. They're just books that you can adopt to your trading, or that you should use to actually make. So for instance, the sniper mindset. It's about business. It's about a guy that's a sniper, got out of the military, and used that skill to do good in business. So what time is it? 2:09. All right. So let's look at the index. Let's see what the index tells us. Let's see if there's any high probability trade. So here's the problem. So on the index, we're looking at the 5-minute. It rolled over. We missed the best trade entry for a short. So we missed the best trade entry for a short on what exists on the chart. And the long does exist. And it's probably right around this key level. I mean, you can kind of see it's obvious. I mean, look at the structure of the market. You've got a level, and then you've got, another level, another level, another level. So, there's the other level. Now, that would be the first, at least from a 5-minute perspective, where you would expect the market to maybe come and test and hold up. And then you might even expect an overshoot to this low. So that's maybe what you would expect if it does sell off. But I think we just got confirmation that the long is on.
Order filled.
So it might be too volatile here that it might not work out. Now see where I'm putting my stops now? I've got 2 what we call reaction areas that we trade in our system, which the system is based on reaction areas. I've got 2 reaction areas between where my stop. I got 3 actually. I got 3 reaction areas between where my stops are. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm not showing the chart. I apologize. So I've got 3 reaction areas, and my stop actually is not in a great area. If it did want to pull back and do like a momentum check, but so now we're gonna see if it pulls back a little bit, we get picked up on the other lot. Just doing 1 or 2 lot trades. It's the end of the market. I should be trading a little bit more size, but I just don't like where we're at on the pattern. Members, I mean, and when I say members, I'm not excluding other people and YouTube. It's just
order
because
filled.
I can't explain, the full thing. But members on chart 4, I think we got to trust that chart. It's momentum and bias long. It's held, and then it did a level check as well as it did it's a weak level, obviously. And then it did a momentum check, and then now it looks like it's going to hold the fast momentum possibly. So if that holds, problem is my entry is not the best for that holding. So I should do one more lot here on and the challenge with this is if it's going to sell over, if it's going to roll over here, it's just going to take me out right away. But it doesn't look like it's going to roll over. But, it needs to close above on a macro level or micro level, whatever it is, 849. Closes above 849, then I have more confidence in this trade. That's 2 key things on chart 2 and chart 4. All right, so there we are. So put our trailing stops in and just kind of forget about the trade. I mean, I don't forget about it, but just let it work. It's either going to work out or not. That's the other thing I do with trailing stops. Is it's either going to work out. Great. So here we are. Yeah. So let's see where we're at. You do one more position right around 834. So right around 834. 835 spot 25. That's the right way to trade this if you're going to trade this. Because we're going to you look back on this, you'd look back on this area of the chart regardless of the time, and you would say, okay, well, it went back, it didn't exceed the extreme band of the fast momentum indicator. It did a level check, and you had to account for that. And yeah, it took maybe 5 to 7 minutes for this to unfold. It could have been 3 minutes, right? So, so that's and you know that you're near the opening range high, so you're at a failure point. So you are kind of at a point where you expect a reaction, and it's going to stall there anyways. So, you're factoring all that in. So your stops have to be where I have them, which is basically right. I started my stops at 832, a little bit lower than 832, 830. So I started my trailing stops at 830. So to trade this pattern in real time, the way you have to trade it is exactly how I did. Number one, probably should have waited for a little bit of a pullback for the entry. But then you have to plan to scale in down for a double level check here on chart 2. And then the other thing that you have to do is your stops have to be far enough away to plan for that. Now, the additional position that you add will improve your basis a little bit. But and then what's the reward in this trade? When we talk about the reward, well, we know that we have a level right around 870. That's our first reward level. That's our first profit level that we would consider taking. So we know right around 870. That's on the chart already. But then, we've got that 900 level that we've been looking at all day. So that's the other thing to kind of consider when we're talking about, like, okay, what are we talking about as far as risk reward? And I know I don't share that or I do. Actually, I do. I don't say what's our risk reward, because I don't really. I think for most day traders, you are gauging that based on I haven't seen anybody do like a tool, like a trade tool. I know you can do them. I just think for a lot of trades, they take too much time. Now, you should be able to gauge that, I believe, like on a visual level, to say, yeah, that's a, but maybe you need to know that I'm doing a 3-to-1 risk reward or something. Maybe you need to know that. So I don't think most traders that would trade the system need to know that. I think they need to know that there's enough room for the risk reward to work out where it makes sense. If that's clear. Like I said before, the more decisions, so we're up about $700. The more decisions you got to make while you're trading, the more you're going to be confused. So you want to look at your trade system. You want to look at the way you're trading and saying, okay, how do I get to conviction? My best trades are when I trade with conviction and when I'm not arguing with the chart, not stubborn. And I'm sure your best trades are too. Someone did share yesterday that they did a trade, and when they did a trade, they did their first trade and it worked out. They said, "Am I just lucky, or did I do something good here?" Well, if you have to ask that question, then you're probably just lucky. All right, so like I said, what did it do? What are we seeing right here? I mean, it's obvious there's a high there, but the level, it stalled at the level. So we're in 2 lots, trailing stops. We're going to move one of our trailing stops down. So you'll often see me do this too. So what did I just do? So I have one trailing stop. I'm kind of babying a 2-lot position. I've got one trailing stop that's up a little bit high. And then what I do is, if the trade unfolds and it kind of moves in the direction we expect, I might move another trailing stop or other trailing stops down lower, let them start from a lower level, give that trade a little bit more room because the trade worked out in the favor. Now, my nephew, for instance, he uses fixed stops and then he just moves the fixed stops up. I think that's acceptable. I just like trailing stops because why I use trailing stops is I'm looking at other charts and other things, and I kind of like the trade to kind of be managed by itself, where I used to, and sometimes I do, when I use fixed stops, oftentimes a fixed stop here and there doesn't move up to where I would want it to move up. And because I'm, this is probably something I should work on, obviously. Well, actually, no, I just use trailing stops. I don't need to move fixed stops. But if I use fixed stops, I'd have to develop the process of like making sure that I'm checking the trades that I'm in. But with trailing stops, I still am aware of it, but I just have to kind of watch it. I don't have to really watch it, is what I'm saying. I don't have to move it. Maybe if it maybe does a really big impulse move and I want to, so for instance, this is a key time. Well, that top stop that you see there, if it's going to maybe impulse up to 920, that area, which we're looking for. Well, right now that stop on chart 2 is is in the middle of what we call our momentum and bias indicators. Well, that's not giving it room to check both of those if it wants to pull back real quick. But I'm fine with getting out on this. So we're up about $1,200 on this trade. Not bad for 2 lots. Let's look at the Bitcoin. What's up, buddy? You doing good? Oh, yeah. Just talking to Rex like he's a person. That's all. Nothing unusual about that. What is this?
To be the place you knew. How could you have such horrible instincts and survive this long?
Sorry, I found sounds on my stream deck, and I didn't know that I had them up here. There we go. It's moving. This is where I was like, this is where I'm like, oh, man. We got confirmation. Why didn't I trade the pattern with size? Right? That's what I'm saying. So let's do this. Look at that move. And it finally got there. It finally did what it's want to do. So there's a level that we're targeting up there, obviously. That's the level we're targeting. And as it gets closer to that, we'll tighten up our first stop above and see if we can ride the other one up maybe a little bit more. So I'll move this one down. And then I'm going to move this one down to give it a little bit more room. So let it impulse up. Now the question we're going to have here when it gets to there is, are we going to want to sell that? So let's see if we're going to want to sell. And so I don't think we do, because if it really moves, it's going to get to 996 or so. Yeah, you too, Nathan. Thanks for joining me. I know it's late in the session. And I probably should call it a day too, but I think I'm going to, well, I don't think I'm going to see, or I'm going to look and see if there's, I don't think there is. I don't think there's a good, so there's my 100% level. That's right around 802 on the index. So I've been, I mean, that was TA I did earlier last week. So we've been trading off TA that's been solid, you know, since, look at that, perfectly stopped on the RDA. See that? RDA has been like an awesome thing today, as usual. You know, so let's look at the days. Let's just see how it's stacking up. Well, let's look at the week first. Yep, awesome. I'm glad I got to readjust the chart every time I change the time frame. All right, so one of the members, you'll see this line here that is the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. So that probably is the area that we really need to be watching on the NQ, is this area right here. So we scroll in right here, which is what I've been saying, 909 or so, 910. This area right here is what we need to be watching. That's the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. So it's from there. So, you know, that's needs to be part of my, it used to be. I just stopped doing it. So it needs to be part of my TA right here. Now there's another, that's another anchored VWAP from kind of where I could see the most significant low that was tested of recent time from March. Is that 2020? Yeah, that's March 2020. Okay. So those are aligning together, the high and the low. Actually, we're in the middle of it right now. We're in the midst of it. Interesting.
Stop filled.
Got stopped out. See that pullback? So we did get stopped out on that pullback. Probably going to get stopped out again, maybe. I'm going to give this one a little bit of room so it can check on chart 2, the RDA. I'm going to give that a little bit more room. But we made probably about $600 on that trade. Have a good weekend, Nathan. Sorry I didn't respond sooner. Or maybe I did respond in voice. Sorry, I'm not in Discord. Rex. User is Rex.actual8994. Yeah. So there's a lot of imitators out on there. And if they're not part of the server, I can only tell Discord, hey, this person is trying to be me. But there's only one of me as far as I know. I don't have a twin. That'd be my only competition. Thanks. Thanks for making me aware. Thanks. I'll update Discord and make sure they aren't here on the server. So we do check every day or so to see if people are on the server, or if there's someone on the server that has duplicated my name. So that is something I do check. I'm looking for something that will do that as well, but it's relatively easy to do. But most people, actually, this person is on the server, I think. Let's see this person. Yeah, this person might be on the server. They joined February 27th, 2023. And then they joined this server March 24th, 2023. So, sorry, man. Don't know what to tell you. You're gone. So, but most of these accounts, they don't join the server. There we go. Did that change the name? I don't know if you're on the stream. So we'll see. Still in this trade. We're late in the session. You might see one rip one way or another, but this would be a good close for obviously what this week, if we look at, what happened this week, this would be a good close for the week. Good close for the week, obviously. With this close, it's making a little bit of a statement if it does that it probably is going to go after this August 2022 key level. It's got a lot of work to do, though. So it's got a lot of work to do. Still in this trade for one lot. I don't see any other trade that looks as appealing as this one. I had a hamburger yesterday, but I made the burger, and it didn't quite satisfy my hamburger needs. So I might have to get another hamburger today. But for everybody that on Monday, and I'll share an update in Discord. Obviously, I'll be around this weekend too. But I have treatment on Monday, so I won't be streaming Monday. And depending on how well I take treatment, so for those that are maybe new, number one, you want to join Discord down below. If you do want to join the number one or the best trading system in the planet, you can DM me, send me an email, or visit the website, learn more about it. So I get chemo treatment on Monday. And so I kind of start a nutrition routine today where I do juicing, I do other stuff, just it makes me feel healthy anyways. But I find that if I offset 2 or 3 days before I get treatment with like super nutrition, like just kind of healthy eating, juicing, do a little bit more juicing, do a little bit more kind of like shakes and stuff like that, fruits, and also it's also how you eat the food, the order that you eat the food so that they digest correctly. Anyways, I'm getting way too in baseball into my own, but I kind of go on this kind of health thing, and most people, they wouldn't even know that I'm on treatment, you know, because I'm active. I'm usually moving around. So I believe one of the reasons for that is because, number one, I don't want it to bring me down, and number two, I think it's partial. I think a lot of it is the actual nutrition aspect. So I'm gonna get in my hamburger here today. Although a hamburger, to me, I mean, it fits within the health regime that I believe in. I'm a meat eater. Anybody have anything they want me to cover before the stream? Anything that that they'd like me to go over? Any questions that they have? Anything that, I mean, I know someone mentioned an indicator before, and I know I kind of got distracted with something. So if there's any questions at all, I mean, the floor is open. Ask me any question. Yeah. United Trading. I'm really interested in your membership. Could you briefly go over what all is included? Yeah. And this is not a plant. So I don't know United Trading. We don't know each other. But no, thanks for asking. Let's look at the trade first, and then let's talk about. Now, here's the one thing. I'll share this. You might see me trade this, so I might be sharing with you something. I'll go through this, but one thing I'll share that for people that are new. When I first started, you know what I'm going to do? I'm working on scripting a video that is my origin story. You know, so everybody knows. So I don't have to repeat this. I can just say, hey, if you're really interested, go watch the 25-minute video on my origin story. I know it's long, but that shares the full background, right? When I first started trading, I still ran my software as a service business. I could only trade 2 times a day. I reserved 45 minutes in the morning, and then I traded around 2:05, 2:15 or so. I would be trading. I got really good at trading the close. I got really good at it. And sometimes there's good opportunities on high volatility in the last 15 minutes of the close. I think it's one of the reasons why I still, I still kind of like to trade this late into the session, because every now and then I'll find a really great opportunity. Now, that great opportunity where that exists today, that great opportunity exists at 955. Okay. So if price spikes up to 955, you might see me stop what I'm talking about and quickly go short. And I might go short with maybe 10 to 15 lots or something. Okay. So, or you might see me scale in at 5, and then it might go up a little bit more. I'll scale in with a little bit of 5. Now, this is advanced trading. This is once again, this is advanced trading. It's not something that I recommend. That obviously you need experience to do it. So I'll go through, just on my site too, I explain all this stuff too. So in my training, it's really here. I know I don't have the most beautiful sales. For those that don't know, I have an internet marketing background. I could make this look like a fancy, shiny sales site with as featured on Bloomberg. I could pay to get featured on any financial site out there. And then I could put the little as featured on I just find all that BS. So anyways, the RexDog system, basically the base system is what you see here in the menu. This is the organized way of learning the system, learning the indicators that we use, learning the philosophy of the system. And then also what's in here is the philosophy of how I would suggest you look at the market in a agnostic way, in a way that you're not making judgment. You don't care what direction the chart moves. If the chart is moving with momentum, you want to be in the trade. That's why it says always in. My thing says always in, because the system that I developed is an always in system.
Stop field.
All right, we got stopped out. So now we're going to see if there's an opportunity for a long trade. The long trade that exists, if it does hit, I'm going to put an entry right around 288, 288.30 and 288. I don't think it'll get down there. So let's go here. 839. So it's an always in system. If the market's moving in a direction, we should be in a trade. Because the system's designed to reverse engineer momentum. So the first section is really that, how the market works, and then it covers what we trade, which is the 4-chart setup. And then obviously trade management like entries, stop losses, and taking profits. I'm redoing the entry section, or I'm adding to the entry section because we're including some things with the 4-chart setup. But the philosophy is the same. It's just I want to make it a little bit more streamlined. The fundamentals of DEN, this is something I really expanded about. I want to expand on the psychology section. So that's trade psychology. Trading basics these are things that I believe everybody should know. Like for instance, on the tick charts here, I have how many videos in there on tick charts? We've got that many videos on, where are we at here? Sorry, I went too fast. Time, for instance. Like, I don't know. I'm very proud of this section here because I believe one of the limiting factors that people have on time or in trading is time. So I really broke down how can you develop thinking so that time isn't a hindrance to your trading. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos on time and momentum, time and ranges, thinking in time, and time intro. What you're going to see in some of these sections too is you're going to see that we're improving. I'm improving the look of the site. I'm really making it, like I said, more dynamic. We're including a lot of images. So for instance, here in the RDA bias check, for instance, you'll see that I've broken down on the pattern library. So this is also in the training, these are the patterns we trade. We talk about, okay, what does that pattern look like? What should happen? What shouldn't happen? How do you execute it in the 4-chart setup, risk and stop losses? And then we talk about different time frames if it's relevant. We recently just did a pattern that I'm working on the video on, which is called the the failure pattern. Don't I have that? I thought I did that one. I thought I did. Didn't I release that? Why is it not in the menu? Yeah. So I don't see it there. It was failure patterns. Yeah, where's the failure patterns? Something I just released this week. So I'm always adding to it. This isn't something that just you buy. One of the things when I bought training, what pissed me off is that I buy training and it was obvious that it was years old. And I was like, okay, I get that. The foundation doesn't change. But I was like, come on, dude. There's got to be ways. And I've learned to become a better trainer, I realize I have to cover things from different angles. So what I released yesterday was called pattern barks. And these are things where we're combining multiple patterns. And we're talking about how do you trade this and what are the unique things in real time that you need to think about. All right, the chart there wasn't really a trade there, maybe a momentum trade. I think there's one more possibly long trade. So I'm going to see if I get picked up here. So what I'm doing here, like I said, I've done this in the past. So
Order filled.
All right, there we go. I got picked up. Now we're going to put a tight stop. It's either going to move here or not. It's either going to take us out quick and we're going to lose maybe $30, or it's going to move and maybe we can make $200 to $500. So that's literally where this trade is at. So it's either going to move right here or not. So there we are. We're in profit now. Our trailing stops in profit. We're up about $100, up about 155, up about 170. Now it's stalling here. If I would have done multiple lots, which I probably should have done, I would have took some profit here. But we cannot get knocked out of here just for like $100. Yep.
Stop filled.
We got knocked out. So if I would have done a multiple lot trade there, which I probably should have done, and I probably could have stayed in this trade. So we'll look and see if we get picked up on a pullback, and then I'll put a trailing stop down below. So we'll see if we get picked up. It might spike back down because it's at a reaction area. So once again, it's an extra $100. you know? So we'll see here. All right. The other thing that I'm excited, or I liked added. The other thing that you get is you get access to all the private indicators. So you'll see here, these are the private indicators that are in the system. And then I have free indicators that I've created. The other thing that is in the training is started doing barks. And, you know, I'm going with the dog theme here, obviously. But basically, these are when someone in the den, so you get access to private Discord channels as well. The other thing that I just recently added is that you probably would fit this United Trading because you're trading right now with live capital. I recommend that traders have 10 green days in a row, 10 green sessions in a row before they trade live capital. It used to be a little bit more than that, but now I've refined it down to 10. And then I've created a special level within the membership, which is the Delta level, these are people that are transitioning or trading live capital. That's where it's as close to one-on-one as you can get with me, as far as like the attention and how I'm looking to manage that. I'm kind of treating it almost as if, well, as much as someone will share their trade log and what they're working on, I might do a bark. And this is an example of what a bark would be, which is, okay, like for instance, this person had a question about, okay, well, I'm doing a swing trade here. Which level should I use for this? I did about a 14-minute video on it. This one here,
Order filled.
Someone asked, is there a way that you can maybe refine or answer a specific question about fade trading without guessing? So I specifically covered that topic here for about 17 minutes. So this is something new that I've added just based on, you know, or when I see someone asking a question. So there we are. We got picked up on that trade. Like I said, on the pullback. Like I said, I got adept at trading the close. This trade might not work out, but you can see here, if we scroll in here, given it enough room because we're up about $90. It's going to either move and we're going to make $200 to $300 here, or it's going to fail here and we're going to lose 60. So that's where we're at. So, so that's a full overview, or I mean that's partially what's included, or not partially. That, and then there's private Discord groups. We have Trade Room Alpha, we have the Trading Den, and like I said, I've just added Delta, which is basically, and I'm not for Alpha members. These are people that, you know, when you transition to trading live capital, all you got to send me a DM and say, hey, I'm trying, time for me to step up and be a Delta. And it can be, you know, there's I think one person there that's in a transition from, okay, they're still demo trading, but they're having a series of green days. So, you know, like I said, and alphas, you're not missing anything. If there's something that's discussed in Delta that I think would be helpful to it's just more of where we can have very focused discussions about the individualistic things that you're going to be dealing with when you transition to live capital. So for instance, I know we've had some new members. You would be, you know, you're going through the training now, and you're hopefully you'll do what I suggest. You have 10 green sessions in a row. Let's watch this trade to see how it works out. It's really volatile. Obviously, we're in the last 16 minutes of the market. So obviously, you know, you follow my recommendation, you have 10 green sessions in a row, then you transition to live capital. Well, you're going to have unique psychological things that are going to come with that you don't even know about yet. And that's kind of what I want to reserve the Delta for, which is like, okay, let's just focus. Let's be very focused on those issues in this area. Because what I find with Discord's great. I love it. But a lot of conversations get lost. You know, a lot of things get lost. That's also why I'm starting to move things over to the website, because I'll oftentimes share something and then I'll have to share it again. Or I say, you know, this would make a good, like, I can just knock out a 10-minute video on this, and then other people would have this question. So I'm creating these sections of the website where, you know, you might have a unique question about something or something else, and then I can direct, or maybe I previously answered that question, and it maybe was 5 days ago on Discord. It gets lost in Discord, but it won't get lost on something that an archival website. I think we're going to be knocked out of this trade, but we're giving it plenty of room. There we go. So we're up $30. I know most people would be saying, dude, you were trading like 50 lots earlier and now you're trading one. What the hell is wrong with you? Like I said, to me, good trading is good trading. Got stopped out. So we're done for the day. I think we're done for the day. I don't see any other trade. I think it's going to range out. Plus, it's not worth, like I said, just trading one lot for. It might. I still see the rip up, but and I'm sure what's going to happen in about 3 minutes. It's going to rip up, and I'm going to say, "Damn it! Why didn't I trade that?" But any other questions? I mean, any other? Did that United Trading? Did I give a good overview there, or did that explain everything? And that's kind of listed on the main page too. Like I said, I could do a super fancy sales site. I could do, but you know, I kind of told myself when I started trading, I'm not going to use my internet marketing knowledge for all the sales tricks and everything else. Okay, it looks like it's going to sell off. I wish I would have sold it now. But this is possibly one of those false sells. Yeah. When I get all the patterns done, I will revisit Glock. Great gun, by the way. Just have to say it. Well, Glock isn't my favorite gun, but I do enjoy Glocks. What do you think about NatGas? I've been looking at it, HNU for Canada and Boyle for us. With NatGas being this low, I've been looking. So, Glock, you probably weren't on earlier. So I'm in a NatGas trade, and I think it could possibly be the trade of the quarter. So I'll go through NatGas here. So I'm trading it in another. I'll go through it. So let's do it in a chart too. So let's go to. I don't want to do it in this chart. We're going to do it in this chart that you're seeing here, just so you know, has a lot of lines on it, okay? So don't, where's NG? There it is. So don't be distracted by all the lines here, but a lot of people are in the same mode of thinking, obviously. So I started a decent sized position in NatGas based on this daily level, which is obvious to everybody in the market. So it's obvious to everybody in the market. What I'm prepared to do is I'm prepared to scale into this position down to here. You don't see this line here. See that really faint line? You probably don't see it. I'm prepared to scale in down to 1.716. That's what I'm prepared to scale into. So how am I scaling in? Well, the simple way is I started here, and I'm prepared to scale in all the way down to here. So that's kind of the way that if you were to look, say, how am I scaling in? And then I'm looking to hold that trade up to, I want to see it tap this yellow line, which is the RDA. It's an indicator we use in our system, which right now is at 3.415. So, you know, that would be a pretty decent trade. At this level, it'd be a pretty decent trade, right? It would be, so I see an opportunity, but everybody sees the opportunity in NatGas. So when everybody can see it, then I start thinking, okay, since everybody can see it, how do you trade this in a way that would hurt the most people, but then that you would be on the right side of that trade? And to me, what would hurt the most people at this point in time, I increase as it goes down, and I have no stop loss. So in this, when I trade these type of trades, and same with Forex, I don't trade Forex with stop losses. I don't believe in stop losses in Forex. The way I trade, yeah, I scale in, and then I trade those stop losses. I have enough powder in that account that I'm not going to get liquidated, but I will call uncle if the trade just doesn't happen to work out. But usually I'm able to get out at a profit, or, you know, that, you know, not usually. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've done a trade like this where, because what I do, I get, so, you know, I'm, thanks for giving me the opportunity to kind of maybe explain this a little bit more. So I game plan, I think about philosophically. I don't know if that's the right term to use in this. I think about what would cause the most pain, right? And I don't think about it from a retail trader perspective. I think about it from the people that actually trade this, or the people that are actually making decisions on this. What would cause the most pain? And to me, a rip down to this level would cause the most pain, because the fear of it would be very hard for a lot of people to put large sums of capital in at these levels, because there's the memory of what happened in oil when it went negative, and then also the memory of what happened to not copper. Damn it, what is the thing that the European it's not copper. They basically pulled the rug on everybody and protected the large capital investors. I can't remember that. I believe that. So this is the only time you'll hear me get into fundamental thinking when I'm doing these longer term trades. And I don't share these. I mean, I do share. So for instance, if you go to my profile on TradingView, those trades that I share are these longer term type of trades. I don't readily share those, not because I'm hiding them from members. It's just because, and I guess I should, but to me it confuses, because this is outside of like my standard trades, like in the system. This is a fundamental trade. This is a, I'm looking fundamentally. Whenever a market gets to an extreme like this, I say, okay, I have a specific account that I do these longer term trades in, and then I fundamentally think about it, and I fundamentally strategically plan it out. Same with my, when I was trading options, I did the same type of thing. So does that help, Torsten, or did that answer your question? And yeah, so I plan a scale and then I also look at it. And then I also do, this is the only time where I actually do some research about, okay, what are the macroeconomic and microeconomic things that is affecting NatGas right now? And then I look at that and I kind of try to get an understanding. I maybe visit some of the forums of people that actually, engineers in that field and stuff like that. So, every time, like for instance, I did one on corn once. So, that's, like I said, I'm a trader. So when I see something like that, especially when it's this far extended from the RDA, it hasn't visited the RDA. Look at that. Look at how long. I mean, number one, this trade has already caused a tremendous amount of pain. So I'm looking for one more pain, one more knockout. But look, it hasn't visited the RDA since December 2022. And if we look at the 4-day on this thing, the 4-day, this is like, okay, but like I said, this is where I think it's going to cause a lot of pain, because everybody in the world can see this, and people that are in this market are talking about this. And the pain could be over, but it doesn't feel like it. So the 4-day RDA is even up here, right around 4.3. So I'm looking at the 4-day on this as well. So, all right. So actually, thanks Glock and Torsten. I'm pretty young. I have a little cash to invest, and looking at this pretty closely, I think there is a real possibility to create a future wealth for me and my family on NatGas. I mean, yeah, I guess if you have the skill, so I'm never one to tell a trader that has it. Oh man, look at that sell off. What time is it? Yeah, we're 5 minutes into the market. So it would have been great to sell that. Yeah, that would have been a great opportunity to sell. And it did switch over here. We did get confirmation at 866. I could have took that trade, but we were explaining something else. So, I don't put self limitations on myself. Now, if you believe you have the skill and the forethought and the knowledge and the plan to execute it with managed risk, but it could potentially be something like that. I don't know. And it could be something that, you well executed. It could be something you tell you said you're young, you tell your grandkids about if you plan to have grandkids. So you can say, oh, back in, well, what would it be? We're in 2023. Back in 2023, back when we had to have phones and we didn't have them embedded in our heads, and we didn't have these mechanical eyes and, all these things. And we didn't have these bionic legs. Back before bionic legs, I did a NatGas trade that bought this whole estate that you see here. So it could be a good story that maybe you're going to tell someday in the future. So, like I said, but I if you don't have the skill and you're just trading it because it's at an extreme, that's not a good enough reason to trade, is what I would share, because it can always go lower, and things could happen in the market that you have no control over, that you have no idea about, because you don't actively trade that market. And there's an example. It's not copper. Is it silver? Was it silver? Oh man. This was like a year and a half ago. The version of CME in, I believe, Europe. I'm drawing a blank of exactly how to tell this story properly. Anyways, they pretty much screwed over anybody that was in great short positions. They pretty much negated the trades. They pretty much, what they did is they protected large capital traders, as the rich and powerful do, at the behest of everybody else. And I'm drawing a blank of what market it was. But I share that because I think that in my fundamental analysis of the NatGas trade that I'm looking to roll out, or that I'm executing, I believe that that's one of the things that's in the back of the mind of the market participants, which is, okay, oil, we know what happened in oil. And then we know what, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We know what happened on this other thing. So I think that that's why you're not seeing a large move to the upside on something like this, because even it wasn't just the retail trader that got hurt when that European entity did that. The trading controlling entity did that. It was large hedge funds. It was, you know what? Oh, God, what am I? Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's a very good look around me at the current state. No, you're right. There's that whole, when everybody else is fearful, when there's blood in the streets, that's the right attitude to have. What I would suggest is that if you haven't studied, because you're young, right? Read historical books on what happened in great crashes. Actually, there's one book I would recommend. Let me go get it, or let me just look at it. There's two books that I would recommend. The Wall Street: A History by Charles R. Geist. I'll put this in the comments too. And then there's Markets, Manias, and Crashes. So if you're not, since you're young, I think you said you're young, right? Yeah, you're pretty young. You and since you're new to the market, you might not have a historical knowledge of how human behavior and psychological behavior, affect, or history rhymes. It doesn't repeat. Yeah. So, I was thinking maybe you're like in your 20 or your young 20s, but 28 is, yeah, you're still young. So, but if you haven't done a lot of historical knowledge on times like this, I'd spend a little bit of time, because you're going to see patterns. There we go. We did miss that long trade there. You're going to see patterns. And what I would suggest, if you read these books, if you haven't read them, is that well, you'll see the books that I have, they're heavily marked up and everything else. And you're looking for not repeats, because nothing's going to repeat. You're looking for it rhyming. So that old saying that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So you're looking for, okay, bucket shops, for instance. If you don't know what bucket shops are, that's what crypto is. Crypto is just, well, not really. But crypto, I look at crypto as kind of bucket shops. The same mentality. The same people, they put it this way. The same people that are in crypto, were in the bucket shops. The same makeup of personalities that are attracted to that are, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, and I'm just saying that the same psychological makeup of person that participates in that behavior, because I trade crypto too. So, but I'm saying that in a mass, has parallels to bucket shops. So if you don't know what bucket shops are, look it up. You'll find a Wikipedia entry. It'll give you a good overview of what bucket shops are. So, if you haven't read the history of markets or how markets started, the benefit that you get there is that you can relate similar type behavior, because it's still humans in charge. I don't care if it's more algorithms now. Humans still coded that algorithm. So that's what I shared. All right, so markets closed. And United Funding, I don't know, did I answer your question there? Hopefully I answered your question. Did that cover it in full? And if anybody is interested in getting started, you can visit the website. There's a link there. Click to get started. I'd like to talk to everybody before they jump in, or before. You just can't buy my training. I'd like to make sure it's I just want to make sure that the people that come in and members, because to me, when you become a member, I'd like a financial commitment from you. It's $9.97 one-time fee just to show you're serious. But then when you walk through that door, I show up every single day. I look at it as, you're adopting my system. You're going to DM me. We're going to be in contact. You're going to be in the den. This is the start of your journey to becoming a profitable trader. I take it seriously. It's not just for me. It's not just, hey, just join the system. So I just want to make sure that it's a fit and you kind of have your right expectations on wherever you're at in your trading journey. So if there's no other questions, what's your take on the amazing short squeeze on GameStop back in COVID times? Blitz T. I didn't trade it all, but I think that revealed, I think I'm waiting for so Glock, for instance, you're 28, right? I'm waiting for your generation to realize how corrupt. I'm almost 50, but then I would say my parents. I'm waiting for your generation to fully realize how corrupt the generation ahead of me is and how corrupt my generation is in some aspects. So, and I think that I'm bringing that up because I think GameStop plays a role in that. I think the other thing that what I'm waiting to see is how far are they going to push this crypto thing? And because I believe that a lot of the younger people are really into crypto, that they're really in tune with it, even if they're not invested in it, if they're not making fun of it, right? So the people that obviously there's a lot of people that make fun of it, right? But if they support the concept of it, the freedom of it, the potential of it, and then to see how politicians and the other quote unquote elites are making it feel like you're a criminal and making it feel like you're the outsider. One of the best advice I got and then I gave to my daughter, I believe, is she's in college right now. Is I said, don't listen to me, but don't listen to me. And what I meant by that is, okay, I'm not of your generation. I don't, like, for instance, I think it's kind of weird that you can, I don't think it's weird, actually. I do think you could say, if I'm going to be, I want to be an influencer. If my daughter said that to me, I'm like, okay, well, tell me your plan. Tell me how you're going to do this. I support her. But most parents, most people of my generation laugh and scoff at someone that wants to be an influencer. I don't laugh at it because at her generation, that's a viable opportunity that exists for her. So the challenge that I've noticed is that the older people, they don't keep up with the opportunities that exist for the younger generation. And the younger generation sees it. And oftentimes the older generation of the parents will squash the dreams and aspirations of someone younger because they don't understand the world that they are growing up in and the opportunities that exist for them. They think, a good example, get a job, work somewhere. Everybody knows that you don't get a job and you work 20 years somewhere. But, they don't understand the world and the opportunities that exist. So I'm sharing that in relation to this GameStop thing because I think there's a couple things that are going on that I'm waiting for the younger generation to step up and say, you know what? These older people, they really don't understand where the world's going. They don't understand the potential, and they don't understand. I'm hoping it's based in freedom too. I'm hoping it's based in freedom. And they don't understand that we're actually looking to be more free. We're looking to not be controlled. I'm hoping, and I think that the GameStop thing revealed some of that. I think there's some other thing. What kind of information training do you offer in your membership? Can you say more about that, Glock? Like, you mean like this? I don't. So that's the thing. So what I was gonna say before is, like this training, like the subset of people that are in my membership that would be interested in this like NatGas thing. I don't know how large, right? So it's like, as far as priorities of what I create, I mean, I would maybe create a couple things, but to really sit down and say, or I could probably do an hour video and systematically, and it wouldn't be fully organized, but I could do an hour video and say, here's the process I go through to do this research on, like if I know nothing about corn, for instance, here's the process that I go through to see whether or not there's a fundamental, but I don't do a lot of these fundamental trades. Like I said, I probably do maybe a 7 to 10 a year. And they're on when I see an opportunity, just because I love the markets. So I hope you don't take any offense to this, but I see many trades online making their own systems. What sets you apart from others? What sets me apart from other traders? That's an interesting question. Well, I'm streaming. You can watch me trade. I share my P&L. So on my website, you can see my P&L. I think I'm over 500K on pretty much documented or almost documented. Those are trades from streams. So they'll, like, if you wonder, does this guy know how to trade? You can go to my website. You can go to the P&L page. And then, I just started doing this. I wasn't comfortable. So my running P&L for just what I share publicly is 522. And then you can see here, I kind of share a log. I share the streams for that day. When I get time, I go back and I update the kind of the breakdown of the P&L. So that sets me apart. I don't see any of that. As far as my trade system, and I'm not offended. I don't know what else. I bought a lot of training. I think the difference that sets me apart is I'm not doing it to make money. The training for me, the reason why there's a dollar figure on it is because I don't believe in free, and I want a financial commitment so that you'll take it seriously. And like, to me, the lowest financial commitment that I think fits the level of someone that has the disposable capital to do this and the right mindset, I think is right around $1,000. I used to charge 0.07 BTC. So whatever Bitcoin was at, that's what I used to charge. So there was someone that said something to me recently that, because I'm a conundrum, because I'm a little odd, because obviously you say, well, if you're a successful trader, then why do you even sell training? Why do you even do this? I don't know the exact answer to that question other than there is a personal reason why I do it. It makes me a better trader by teaching. I'm a better trader because I teach. I'm a much better trader because I teach. I'm also very passionate about it. Also, everything I've done in my life, I've kind of done this type of thing where I've been the person that's been out there being the face of whatever I do. So when I had my software as a service product, I probably did about 50 or 60 podcast interviews where I did the podcast circuit. I had a YouTube channel. I did. So, when I got into trading, I kind of just naturally, and I didn't have training at first. Someone asked, do you have training? And I said, sure, I'll create it here in the weekend. And then I kind of started my training from there. I didn't kind of go into it thinking I was going to create training. I don't know if that completely answers your question. Now, as far as my system, what sets my system apart? That I will confidently say right now. While many components of it are simplistic, because that's actually what makes a really good trade system. What sets it apart, I believe, is number one, with the trade system, I've battle tested it in every market. There's a video on YouTube where I've actually downloaded weather data and traded the Rexdog system with it. Not traded it. You can get open, high, low, and close data from weather stations on humidity, rainfall. The Rexdog trade system, the indicators that we use on that data operate the same as they do in markets. Any data that can be plotted, and I don't know if I've tapped into something with the universe and how the universe works. There's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, capital that created this system and the rules. The other thing that I think that sets me apart and the system apart is that I believe I'm part of the 10%, not in an arrogant way, but I can't read a trading book anymore because I can kind of tell whether or not that person knows what the hell they're talking about, or it's just full of gibberish that actually isn't edge. I can watch a YouTuber and within 2 or 3 videos, I know whether or not that person really trades or not. So I think why I don't grow more is because, like for instance, I looked at my stats yesterday. I don't really look at my stats that often. Many of my videos don't break 100 views. And I think that's probably because I use the dog, probably because maybe I should have a system like called the matrix reverse momentum system or something maybe more, I don't know. But one of the things is that I don't spew BS. I don't make up terms. You don't ever hear me use the word smart money. You don't ever hear me use these things. We trade charts. And if I don't know about something or I can't verify it in a chart, then it's irrelevant. If I can't verify, like if I don't know what a reverse, triple liquidity zone is. I'm just making up a term, right? I of course I have terms to try to describe how I think you should really look at the market. So if I have a unique term that I use that because I believe through all my study and everything else that because 90% of retail traders are failures, 90% of what out there is wrong. So I try to look where's that 10%. So then when I approach training or anything I do, I try to come from the 10% angle. I don't think that resonates with the large percentage of the market because they're just looking for a push button. I don't know if that makes sense. But so here, Blitz T, I've got a decent amount of grip on how the market works, watching it over time, patterns, behaviors, and price action. Watching Rex trade, I can tell you understand the market mechanics. Yeah, and part of it is because part of me, I think I'm on the spectrum somewhere. I'm also, when I get interested in something, like when I got cancer, I I went into a 3-month period where I studied cancer deep. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, I need to show Lambos, bikinis, beach, and a penthouse. Like I said, if you ever see me do that, I've gone to the dark side, and I'm you're one of the things I'll share, and then like I do need to kind of like Rex and I need to get out of the house and go for a drive for a little bit. But one thing I'll share is that you're seeing me do here. So everybody, you're seeing me increase maybe the quality of my thumbnails. You're seeing me try to work on increasing the quality of my videos. You're seeing me. So I'm back on the stream. How does the basis line indicator work? You're seeing me. I'm streaming to 5 different places today. I'm streaming to Facebook. I have a Facebook page now. So I made it. I decided that by handcuffing myself and my knowledge of marketing and everything else, I'm kind of doing a disservice to myself. But I'm not going to go to the dark side, meaning that if I'm spending more time on things that are marketing the training or doing the training instead of trading and focusing on the members, then I'm on the dark side. So I looked myself in the mirror and I made a conscious effort and decision. And I journal. You guys might think this is weird, but I journal my training. I journal my training journey. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, because it's not who I am anyways. I want to genuinely make elite traders. My nephew, I want him to be an elite trader. The members that walk through the door, I want you to be elite traders. Like and then just create this community just to friggin' make $1,000 and say, hey, see ya. No, I did it because, like I said, I believe there is a part of me that what that person said to me is he said, because I said, I know I don't make sense. Like, what do you think? And this person, he said something to me that someone has, he said, you strike me as someone that has nothing to lose. And that it's kind of a weird thing, not a weird, I can't get it out of my head because it does describe where I'm at and why I do this, why I spend time. I'm passionate about it, but I know it doesn't make sense. And for the people that it doesn't make sense on, they're just going to go away. For the people that it does, well, you're going to come in and then you'll see that I show up every single day, even on the weekends. You see that you ask a question, I'm answering the question. I feel like I'm justifying myself, but I'm not. I'm just trying to explain. So how long take you to learn to trade? It took me about 2 years. The worst it ever got is I picked up a monitor and I threw it against the wall. That's the last account I blew up. And I will share my origin story. I want to do that so that I'll write it out first and then I'll probably share the written version and then I'll do a video on it. Just so I'll share kind of my background just because I know some people might be interested. Like it sounds like I get bored every 5 or 6 years. Trading's the only thing I haven't got bored of. Professionally, I used to change what I do every 5 or 6 years. I was in real estate. I ran a record label. I was a software consultant. I ran a strategic business and marketing company. I ran a direct marketing company. I created a software as a service. I've taught myself coding. So I change what I do every 5 years. But trading is the one thing that I wish I would have discovered because I think it's my calling. It's the truest, purest way to capital to me. Speculation. I love the speculation. So it took me about 2 years to become a profitable trader. And if I would have not been stupid, it probably would have happened in a year. And then since 2018, I haven't looked back. So just recently I've had some 2 bad trading days, but I've worked on correcting that. I mean, so far, like as people watched, I'm executing trades well. So yeah, I'll work on that. But, as far as like my origin story and the video and everything else, the priority of that, I got other priorities. I got other requests from members. on videos. We got to finish the patterns library. So just so you know, I'll be covering the head and shoulders pattern, but the head and shoulders pattern, the way that I will teach to trade it, I think I already know because I've already looked out there, is different from what you would find on the first 50 results of Google. It'd be different on the first 50, 30 videos you'd find on YouTube. There'd be similarities, but there would be very distinct differences about how to trade the head and shoulder pattern in a predictive manner instead of a reactive manner. That would be the major difference. I don't know how many members I have. I have no idea. I could probably look it up. It's probably, one of the things that, I've learned, and I'll just be completely upfront. Some people, I'm sure there's people that joined in 2019 that there's some people that are still members or that are still active. And then there's some people that, and I can't control this, they get interested and then they're interested for 3 or 4 months and then they, for whatever reason, fall off the map, right? I'm still here. They still have active membership. They can show up anytime. But, life circumstances or whatever else, maybe they did one trade in crypto where they just got wiped out or something. So, but you can see, at least in Discord, you can see how many active members there are. I mean, right now we got 23. Right now there's 23 alpha members logged on to Discord. 24 now, that are logged on, that are on Discord. So the alpha members are members. So anyways, this went on much longer. I do appreciate, who doesn't like to talk about themselves, right? I give all my nephews and nieces how to win friends and influence people. And I say, look, this book will serve you for the rest of your life. So you cannot listen to me or anybody, any young person in my family. I give them a couple books. I tried it for people that are interested, but I give how to win friends and influence people. One of the things that says in that book is that you get someone to talk about themselves, they're going to like you. To me, that's one of the books, like the classic books. If you read and you adopt that style, you're going to be dealing with people the rest of your life. So that's one of the reasons why I give it to young people in my family. I'm like, hey, there's a couple books I wish that I read when I was your age and adopted so that I could realize my dreams and my potential. This is one of those books. All right. So I appreciate all the questions. I will respond to any comments, any DMs. I know there's a couple people that have DM'd me, so I'll respond here. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, but then I'll be back. So by the end of the day, I'll respond to everything. I do appreciate everybody joining and watching, especially people that stuck around here for the questions. And thanks for the questions, Glock and Blizz T. Thanks, Blizz T, for actually sticking up for me a little bit as far as giving your perspective. Oh, and Talim, I did answer your question, so thank you. And thanks to Glock. And I would good luck with the kind of the opportunity trade you're looking for. So, and if you're not a member of Discord, we can continue the conversation there too. So definitely, this doesn't have to be the end of that conversation. Like if you have more questions, you want me to expand on something, definitely join Discord. That's the best place to kind of ask questions. And we can kind of go from there. Everybody have a great weekend. Like I said, I get treatment on Monday. So I will be about 11 o'clock or so. I'll be up in the market, or I'll be looking at the market, but I won't be able to stream because I'll be getting chemo treatment. So that's something to keep in mind. Other than that, I'll keep everybody updated on the weekend. We'll look at crypto. I might do a crypto update this weekend too, because a lot of things have moved in crypto. So I've got earmarked tomorrow for when I have a little bit of time to sit down and look at the crypto market and say, okay, what's going on in the crypto market? Let's see what we can learn. Let's see if there's opportunities. So I'll be doing that as well. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me this week. And then we'll see you next week, or we're seeing in Discord. We'll see you guys later.